Oh, what up, ladies? Well, I tried to get us a recap from last week, and crap happened, and it wouldn't save, and it wouldn't save, and it wouldn't do this, wouldn't do that. I don't know. All I know is I hate computers. But today is a great day because we have Week 5 preview. We know what else we have. We have the Utes. We are playing against Cal this evening. It's going to be exciting stuff. We're going to rock them, possibly move in the top 3, depending upon how much we beat them. And then we go to Arizona State. Well, Arizona State comes here next week, and then we go to USC. We win the next 3 games. We pretty much have the Pac-12 South covered. So it's exciting stuff. College football is fun. Not just for fandom, but also because you get to see who's coming into the NFL eventually. Another big game for Leonard Fournette, who's going to be a really expensive rookie in a couple years. All right, 2 things I want to cover before we get to the games. First thing, let's talk about trades. All right, so I've been trying to get a particular trade from someone for quite some time, back and forth, back and forth. I've offered multiple trades. It actually ended up benefiting the person significantly if he would have just said yes. But he didn't. He kept on saying no, saying no, saying no. Anyway, I've talked to lots of people about this particular trade. One person in particular I've gone back and forth on, explaining my frustration about not being able to get this one player I'm trying to get, even though, again, it would have been beneficial to the other player. Well, this third party then went and submitted a trade to the same person, and they were going to do it. And I was like, well, that sucks, because I still had a trade pending that was a better trade, in my opinion, for these particular players. And so I called this person up and was like, so fine, we're not going to have a trade, whatever. And then the third party got mad at me for talking to the second party about the potential trade. Guess what? I'd already talked to this person about this trade, and they got up in my business trying to interject into a trade. Here's my point. When discussing trades, take into account multiple things. If you want my opinion on it, and you don't want me to call and talk to the person, say, hey, I don't want you to talk to this person. I just want your unbiased opinion. And then I will step outside of the owner and I'll become the commissioner and give my opinion. However, if you're just talking to me about a trade about one that I'm already trying to accomplish myself, I'm going to use that to try and go and improve my own personal trades. So I like being someone that you people come to for your trades. I like having my input and opinions on things. However, do not expect me to keep my mouth shut if you don't ask me to, number one. And number two, don't talk to me about trading for a player that I'm also trying to trade for and I've already talked to you about. Lame. Second thing, there are certain rules that you need to remember as a fantasy football owner, and one of those rules is if a player has been let go by a team he's been with for his entire career, and that team let him go kind of unceremoniously, and that player was upset about it, always play that player the next year if they play that team. Case in point, last year, Steve Smith just wrecked Carolina. And who happened to be doing the same thing this year? Andre Johnson. Thanks, Andre Johnson, for not letting me remember this freaking basic rule of fantasy football, which is if a player is let go unceremoniously by his team he's played for his entire career, if he plays him in the next season or any point in the future, you automatically start that player in fantasy even if he's had a bad year. That's just what you do. They're going to have a good game. That's how it works. You know, it needs to be a written rule of fantasy football, but as it stands, it's an unwritten rule. I'm a little upset about it, a little mad at myself. Hopefully, you all can learn in the future. So, trades. Let's get some trades going to make your teams better, people. You know who I'm talking to. There's 2 of you. Number 1, the third party. It's your own fault for talking to me about a trade that I'm already trying to accomplish, and you knew that I was trying to trade for. It's the same player that you were trying to trade for. Number 2, second party. Accept the better trades. Make your team better. Oh my gosh, you all suck. All right, let's get into the games. So, what do we got going on here? We got some decent matchups this week. Oh, we already got some players underway. Hopefully that doesn't bias me too much, but hey, you know what? It's my advantage for not playing any Thursday football games, and it's the NFL's fault for playing Thursday football games. Ugh. All right, just so everyone knows, I was 5-1 last week to ESPN's 4-2, so I'm once again ahead. I'm 15-9 on the season. Not bad, so you guys can complain and say, oh, Pookie's picked me, that means I'm going to win. That's not how it works, okay? I do pretty well in picking my games, so just if you want to look on the right of your screen there, that's what it says. Last week I was correct on everybody except for Ricky and Tyler. I'm still 0 for Ricky. I'm pretty much, I get Jeffrey and KayCee right every week. I'm pretty right on myself, well, obviously because I pick myself to win every time, but whatever. All right, so to the games. Pookie versus Lucas. All right, so this particular game makes me kind of chuckle for a couple of reasons. Number one, Lucas is terrible, so that makes me happy that I'm playing against him. Number two, Tyrod Taylor's going to outscore Joe Flacco, which makes me happy. Jeremy Hill not so great against Jamal Charles, but Duke Johnson will outscore C.J. Spiller. Rashad Jennings will outscore Sammy Watkins. Emmanuel Sanders will beat Marvin Jones. Allen Hurns will likely lose to Calvin Johnson, but by not by as much because other Allen for Jacksonville is out. Donnell and Heath Miller, I give it to Donnell. Eagles and Rams, I'm going to go ahead and give that to the Eagles. The Rams. Oh, no, wait, they're playing Green Bay. I lied, Eagles. And then Dan Bailey versus Graham Gano. Apparently he's got to pick up a kicker. But as it stands, I like my team to win this game because we have the matchup advantages. Jamal Charles is going to be his high scorer. Maybe Joe Flacco, but the rest of his team isn't going to do much. Calvin Johnson is looking to try and accomplish something, but Arizona has a pretty good defense. And Allen Hurns is the only wide receiver in Jacksonville. So I like my matchup. I like where we're at. Yes, it's a 10-point thing right now, but he's going to put in some kicker. But ESPN has me winning. I also am going to pick myself to win. I'm going to 4-1 this week. That's pretty good, especially for a team that's already lost so many of its good players. I mean, look at this. Dez Bryant, boom. Steve Smith, boom. Tony Romo, boom. I also already had to drop one of my freaking tight ends. It's been a bad year, but hey, I'm trying. And at being 4-1 after this week, good job, me. LaShawn McCoy being out hurts. Cam Newton and Funches. Hey, I'm getting some pretty good luck as far as these buys go, aren't I, with Cam Newton being down? Whew. Go Pookie. All right, next game, the big one, the top of the board here. Number 1 versus number 2. Ricky versus Clinton. Let's take a look at this. All right, Philip Rivers versus Tom Brady. Let's not even pretend like Tom Brady isn't going to wreck my Cowboys defense. Therefore, let's give that check mark to Tom Brady. Le'Veon Bell versus Mark Ingram. Yeah, Le'Veon Bell is going to be huge this week. I say that because I also have him in DraftKings. Mark Ingram, he'll do all right against Philadelphia. Well, actually, no. Philadelphia's got a really good run defense this year, so... Or was that New York Giants? I don't remember. Either way, Le'Veon Bell's going to win that matchup. Justin Forsett versus Antonio Andrews. Forsett, Deion Lewis versus Allen Robinson. Oh, that was a different Robinson. Was out. Oh, whoops. Anyway, still like Allen Hurns. Deion Lewis versus Allen Robinson. I'm going to pick Deion Lewis because he's going to catch a lot of passes. He's going to get at least one touchdown. Again, I have another player here. I've got Deion Lewis in my DraftKings lineup. Julian Edelman versus Odell Beckham Jr. I have Odell Beckham Jr. in my DraftKings, so I'm going to pick him there. Julian Edelman, John Brown versus Keenan Allen. I'm going to go with John Brown. Travis Kelce versus Rob Gronkowski. Yeah, obviously Gronkowski. Packers versus Chiefs. Chiefs versus Chicago. That's probably going to be the win there. Gostkowski versus Hauska. Oof, probably Hauska, actually. All in all, a couple of check marks here, a couple of check marks there. But I think Bell, Forsett, and Lewis are just going to have big games. Edelman's going to get some of the Brady love. Philip Rivers is going to have to throw the ball against Pittsburgh. So end of the day, Ricky's going to move to 5-0, and Clinton's going to fall to 3-2, putting me in second place and Ricky in first solidly. But eventually something's going to happen, and he was going to lose. But he's showing that having the right running backs helps. Oh, Bishop Sankey, Chris Ivory, not much there. Chris Johnson. I mean, you're all running back. Anquan Bolden and Willie Snead. Ooh, you really paid up for Willie Snead there. I forgot about that. That was expensive. Oh, Gio Bernard. Oof, probably would have played him over Antonio Andrews if I were you, but hey, you believe in Antonio Andrews. Feel free. Isaiah Crowell, Darren Sproles, whatever. Seahawks defense at Cincinnati. I guess that's an interesting one to sit, but yeah, actually, Chiefs are going to be good. So good choice there. And the rest is what it is. All right, so I'm going to agree with ESPN here. Gotta write this down. Ricky. All right, Newell versus Jeffrey. Adrian Peterson is on bye this week. That hurts. Yeah, that hurts Jeffrey. But hey, Frank Gore had a good game. Dante Moncrief did not. That's definitely going to hurt considering Carson Palmer is going to beat Andy Dalton. Matt Forte is probably going to outscore Frank Gore. Even against that, Todd Gurley will beat DeMarco Murray because DeMarco Murray sucks. Alshon Jeffrey versus A.J. Green. A.J. Green gets that win. Jeremy Maclin gets the win over Dante Moncrief. Michael Crabtree versus Amari Cooper. Cooper wins there. Delaney Walker versus Eifert. I'm actually going to give it Walker this week. Cardinals versus Bengals. I'm going to go ahead and say that it's the Cardinals with that matchup. And Tucker versus Crosby. Ooh, actually, I think this is a lot closer than the 15 points projected here, but I'm going to go ahead and agree with ESPN on this one that Jeffrey gets the win and moves to 3-2, and Newell's going to fall to 2-3. Let's take a look at the benches, see if there's anything they can do to help improve their teams. Yeah, having Adrian Peterson out on bye would help. Russell Wilson versus Andy Dalton. I'd probably go with Russell Wilson this week, to be honest with you. That's just me. Maybe I'm crazy, but I would do that. Tevin Coleman is going to take away from Devonta Freeman, but he's not worth the start just yet. Well, I don't know. Crabtree. I don't know. One thing to consider is Tevin Coleman there. Charles Sims. No. Jordan Cameron obviously on a bye, but ugh. This is just sad for my Cowboys. Just sad. Yeesh. That's just sad. Anyway, he's obviously off your team. Pierre Garcon, I might not. Oh, no. He's fine there. Yep. You kind of got your best lineup up there. Your team just needs to perform, Jeffrey. You've got a decent team. They just need to do what they're supposed to. So, Jeffrey gets the win. Aaron versus Tyler. Well, we've got the guy that's in Lake Powell, not even paying attention to his team. I had to start Sam Bradford for him. That's how bad it is for him this week. But with that being said, let's look at this. Sam Bradford versus Eli Manning. Eli Manning's going to go batch crazy on Sunday night. Probably throw 4 touchdowns to ODB. So Manning gets the win over Bradford there. Eddie Lacy versus C.J. Anderson. Do we even really need to have this discussion? Eddie Lacy. Alfred Morris versus Latavius Murray. Yeah, let's go ahead and give that to Latavius Murray. Wait, no, he's playing Denver. Eesh. I don't know. I'd actually start Matt Jones, fire Aaron, and I would put Matt Jones in over, and I'd pick Jones over Murray. Leonard Hager versus Ronald Hillman. This is too bad that he has to start 2 Denver running backs, but Hankerson gets the wins there. Antonio Brown versus Mike Evans. Antonio Brown without Ben Roethlisberger just isn't the same player, so he's going to go ahead and lose out to Mike Evans. Ruben Mandel will obviously be out Stevie Johnson because Stevie Johnson is out. Tyler's going to supposedly come back and pick up some wide receiver. Let him figure that one out. Jimmy Graham versus Ladarius Green. Jimmy Graham needs to do better. I think he does it. Tied to that Russell Wilson discussion from earlier. Patriots versus Broncos. Broncos obviously are going to win there. Brandon McManus versus Matt Bryant. McManus has been crazy all year, but Matt Bryant's going to win this week. Lamar Miller, Greg Olsen being down. That hurts. I put in Matt Jones, as I said. Crockett Gilmore, Darren McFadden, Tavon Austin. Yeah. I would even start Darren McFadden over Alfred Morris at this point, but hey, that's just me. Oh, on to Tyler's bench. Nothing he can do. He's got everybody in that it can be in. David Johnson doesn't need to be up there. Carlos Williams out. Derek Carr being replaced. He needs a wide receiver. So, yeah. He's got to figure something out there. All right. Who do I pick? I'm actually going to pick... Oh, that's a tough one. But I think that C.J. Anderson has a better game this week. Sam Bradford. This is going to be a close, low-scoring game. Jeez, I'm having a hard time here. Let me go with Aaron, though. I'm going to agree with ESPN again. Sorry, Tyler. Your team's just not very good. All right. D-Wayne versus... poor KayCee. Let's see. Where are we at? Projected to almost get to 90, though. Hey, Arian Foster didn't do great rushing the ball, but he got all those receiving yards, so that's good. 12 points isn't great, but you'll take it considering the rest of your team has been so terrible. Aaron Rodgers versus St. Louis. At home, Aaron Rodgers is going to be great. Joseph Randall against New England. I need some points from Joseph Randall, so let's do something there. So Rodgers and Matt Ryan. Ooh, that's going to be a push. I think Matt Ryan's going to have a good week. I'm going to give it to Matt Ryan. I think Joseph Randall gets another touchdown this week, so he's going to end up beating Arian Foster. Danny Woodhead versus LeGarrette Blount. I think that Blunt's going to get a touchdown or two. But so he's going to push there. Ooh. What was that? That's a kind of a Randall, and Randall beats Foster, but there's a push on that one, and I think Matt Ryan outscores Rodgers. So far, KayCee looking good. Melvin Gordon against Pitt this week. I think he has a good game. Brandon Cooks will do okay, but not great. Jordan Matthews versus Demaryius Thomas. It's going to be a push. I think that Matthews will have a decent game as well. Vincent Jackson versus James Jones. Jeez, KayCee. You know what, KayCee? Owen Daniels, that's my tight end in DraftKings. Falcons over Washington. You know what, KayCee? You got it, man. It's you. KayCee gets the win this week. KayCee gets off the schneid. Oh, nice. Let's take a look at your bench, see if you can get any way to improve it, either one of you. Andre Ellington, maybe over Danny Woodhead. Maybe. Not Rawls, not Cruz. Gary Barnage. You have the right quarterback starting. Devonta Adams, bleh. Amir Abdullah, not doing much. Martavis Bryant, yeah, it's good not to start him this week. All right, yeah, KayCee with the victory. And then, of course, Tim and Malkovich. All right, Drew Brees versus Matt Stafford. Stafford, Brees, Drew Brees wins that one. Devonta Freeman versus Carlos Hyde. You know what? Shocker here. Devonta Freeman beats a crappy Carlos Hyde. Theo Riddick versus T.J. Yeldon. Yeldon's going to get the win there. T.Y. Hilton versus Doug Martin. I think that Doug Martin's going to have a decent game against Jacksonville, so they're going to outscore the 8.8. Randall Cobb versus Julio Jones. Julio Jones is going to be huge this week, so I'm going to give that victory there. I don't think Fitzgerald can beat the 19 points from DeAndre Hopkins. Charles Clay's going to have a big week, so he's going to beat Jason Witten. And Steelers, Bills. Bills is going to have a big week over there for Timothy. And then the kickers. Yeah, Robbie Gould will probably win that. But at the end of the day, I agree with ESPN again here that Malco's going to have a big game. And he's actually projected to be the highest scorer this week. Good job, Malco. And with that, you get the victory. So, ESPN, I agree on everything, but I think that KayCee's actually going to get a win. KayCee, if it makes you feel any better, I have been 100% correct on you so far. Whew. So, there we are. I'm just going to show you all something here. This is my DraftKings lineup this week. This is what I think is going to make me a lot of money. I'm really kind of excited about this lineup. Ugh. Look at this. Tyrod Taylor, I think, is going to be big with Charles Clay and rushing the ball without any running back there. Le'Veon Bell, I think, is going to have a big week. Deion Lewis, you can see. So some of you can see that I have some of the players that you picked up. I got Willie Snead playing. I just need Owen Daniels and Willie Snead to get a total of 30 points. If I get that, I think I'm going to be huge. As a matter of fact, let's see if I have that projected lineup I got. So this is what I'm kind of hoping I get out of these players. 54 rush yards and a touchdown from Tyrod Taylor with 240 pass yards and 2 touchdowns. Not outlandish. With that, he gets me 29 points. Le'Veon Bell, 113 points. And 113 yards and 1 touchdown, 4 receptions, 48 yards. Deion Lewis, 75 yards rushing, 68 yards receiving with 6 receptions and a touchdown. Odell Beckham, a bunch of receptions for 111 yards and 2 touchdowns. You know what, Julio? Let's give you a 9 for 133 and 2 touchdowns as well. Let's get you a big game. If I get some big games from those two, then I obviously don't need much from Willie Snead and Owen Daniels. 76 yards and a touchdown for Snead, 5 receptions for 50 yards for Owen Daniels. Not big things there. But then a lot of those yards, almost half the yards and one of the touchdowns for Tyrod Taylor goes to Charles Clay, which gets me 26, 13 points from the Giants, gets me 230 points approximately. With that, I would win some money. So that's what I'm hoping for. Hope everyone's having a good time playing DraftKings. Hopefully you're doing something to make yourselves a little bit of money. But at the end of the day, this week's going to end with Ricky is still undefeated, KayCee getting off the snide, me in second place, and some other things happening. But, oh, football's great. Go Utes tonight, and kind of good luck to you all, I guess. I don't know. We're in the middle of the season, you know. We're almost halfway through. We have 2 games left, and we're halfway through this regular season, which is kind of crazy that it's moving so fast. But it's here. It's exciting. Like I said, go Utes.